Hey guys, tonight we start with something a little different. Before we explore the quiet debt spiral that nearly ended the world, I want you to slow down for a moment. Let the day settle behind you. Let the noise soften. Let yourself arrive right here with me. If you enjoy these calm nighttime stories, you can like the video and subscribe later, but only if it genuinely feels right to you. For now, I want your focus to drift away from the screen and into a more peaceful space. Let me know in the comments where you are listening from and what time it is. It is always comforting to imagine people from all over the world settling in at the same moment, ready to drift into a soft story together. Now, I want you to do something simple for yourself. Go ahead and place your phone or laptop beside you. Set it down gently. You do not need to look at the screen anymore. Just listen to my voice. Let it guide you through the slow, calm path we're about to walk. Close your eyes. Yes, both of them. Feel the lids grow just a little heavier. Let your shoulders relax. If you are lying in bed, adjust your pillow so it supports you in a comfortable way. If you are sitting, allow your back to rest naturally. Take a quiet breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. No pressure, no goal, just a soft, easy breath. Imagine the room dimming around you. Maybe you have a small lamp on, or maybe the lights are already low. If you have a fan running, notice the gentle hum it makes. That steady, endless sound that keeps you company without asking anything from you. Let that soft noise blend with my voice. Let everything else fade into the background. Tonight's story is not dramatic. It is not meant to make your heart race or your mind rush. It is a slow unfolding, a gentle walk through a moment in history that almost slipped by unnoticed. A moment when the world drifted into a debt spiral so quietly that most people barely felt it happening. Like the way night slips in while you are not paying attention. Think of this story as a calm river. We will move along it at a slow pace. No sudden turns, no sharp edges, just a quiet current, steady and predictable. I will carry you through it one soft step at a time. All you need to do is breathe and listen. As we begin, remember that this is your time. A moment carved out of your day just for rest and reflection. You have made it through another set of hours filled with work, thoughts, tasks, and maybe even worries. But none of that needs to follow you here. Let it all stay outside this room. You deserve these minutes of quiet. Tonight, we are going to explore how small decisions, ordinary habits, and everyday choices created a financial pattern that grew slowly over decades. Not with explosions or sudden crashes, but with gentle pressure that built up like snowfall on a roof. Almost invisible, almost silent, and yet powerful enough that one day the world finally realized it had woven itself into something fragile. But do not worry. This story has a soft landing. It ends with healing, with understanding, and with a peaceful reminder of how resilient people can be when they come together and look closely at the structures around them. So take one more breath. Let your hands rest where they naturally fall. Feel the quiet around you. Feel the moment slowing down. As your eyes stay closed, let your imagination open instead. Tonight, I am here to tell you a gentle tale about numbers and people, about calm decisions and quiet consequences, all wrapped in the soft comfort of a bedtime story. Whenever you are ready, we will begin. Just listen. Let your mind drift as lightly as a feather settling onto a blanket. Now, let us ease into tonight's journey together. Chapter 1. The World Before the Spiral. Before we dive into the quiet debt spiral itself, I want you to imagine a world that felt steady, not perfect, not peaceful in every corner, but familiar in the way daily life often is. A world where most people woke up with simple routines. They stretched, they checked the weather, they brewed coffee or tea. They walked the same streets they had walked yesterday, and the day before, and countless days before that. Take a slow breath in while you picture this. Let the picture settle in your mind. Let it drift into softness. In this world before the spiral, debt was something most people barely thought about. It was like the background hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Always there, always working, but never loud enough to demand attention. People borrowed a little for homes, or for school, or for a car. Governments borrowed for roads and hospitals. Businesses borrowed to grow. It all felt normal, almost comforting in its routine. Imagine a small town in this world, not a specific country, just a place that could be anywhere. A place where early mornings are quiet and calm. A warm bakery scent drifts through the air. Workers sweep sidewalks. Shopkeepers lift metal shutters. A bus sighs as it pulls up to its first stop of the day. Everything feels smooth. Everything feels predictable. Debt existed in this little town too. The baker had a loan for a new oven. The small grocery store borrowed to expand its storage room. The local government had a budget with lines of figures that balanced well enough from year to year. No one thought of any of it as dangerous. It was simply how the world worked. People trusted the system because it had been there so long. They trusted that numbers added up. They trusted that banks knew what they were doing. They trusted that governments would manage everything responsibly. After all, most people were too busy living their own quiet lives to think deeply about how money flowed behind the scenes. And why would they? When life feels stable, the machinery beneath it becomes invisible. Take another slow breath. Let your shoulders settle again. Think of this world not as something far away or complicated, but as a gentle picture forming in your mind. A world where calm routines shape the rhythm of each day. In this peaceful period before the spiral, the idea of borrowing felt almost natural. It was like taking a sip of water when you were thirsty. A little thirst was normal. A little water solved it. A little debt solved problems too. Need a new road? Borrow for it. Want to expand a business? Borrow for it. Want to boost the economy? Borrow for that as well. Everyone believed the future would be bright enough to repay whatever they borrowed today. Quiet confidence filled the air. Banks grew larger. Governments became more ambitious. Families reached for bigger dreams because credit made them feel possible. People rarely questioned where the money came from. It was simply available. And that availability made life feel open and full of potential. There were economists and historians, of course, who would occasionally write small articles saying that debt should be watched closely. But their voices sounded distant, not alarming, more like soft reminders that everyone assumed someone else would handle. If you picture this scene with your eyes still closed, notice how it carries a sense of comfort, a gentle hum of life moving forward. This is important, because the quiet debt spiral did not begin with panic or sudden fear. It began in a world that felt safe, too safe perhaps, safe enough that no one felt the need to look closely at what was brewing underneath. Imagine the financial system of this time as a large library. The books are stacked neatly, the floors are polished, the shelves look strong, but deep in the structure of that library, small cracks have begun to form. Not dangerous yet, not visible, but present, slight, hidden, mostly harmless at first. And because everything still looks beautiful on the surface, no one notices the faintest hint of strain. That was how the world felt before the spiral. Calm, confident, carrying small cracks that no one paid attention to because they were far too quiet. People went about their days with no idea that the systems supporting their lives were slowly stretching. No one felt threatened. No one saw the weight building. It was like snow falling softly onto a rooftop. 1 flake is nothing. 10 flakes are nothing. 100 flakes barely make a sound. But over time, the weight grows. Quietly, patiently, almost politely. In this early stage, the world had all the ingredients of a future crisis, but none of the awareness. And because debt grew in gentle increments, almost everyone believed it was under control. Before the spiral began, the world was simply living, breathing, and moving forward one soft day at a time. And in that calm, no one wondered what might happen if the gentle build-up continued just a little too long. Let that picture rest in your mind for a moment. A world unaware, peaceful, moving toward something it could not yet see. Allow the thought to float lightly, without tension, like a leaf drifting on a slow river. This is where our story truly begins. Chapter 2. The first small cracks. Now that your eyes are closed and your body is settling into comfort, let's continue. Imagine the peaceful world we left behind. Everything moved at a quiet, predictable pace. The baker opened his shop on time. The grocery store shelves were stocked. The town's streets were calm. People were smiling, going about their routines, unaware of the subtle changes starting to appear in the background. These changes were not dramatic. There were no loud alarms, no shouting in the streets. They were soft, gentle shifts, like the first cracks in a frozen lake. You could walk across the ice without noticing them at first. It took time before anyone realized the weight above was pressing down, little by little. Governments began borrowing just a little more than before, not recklessly, not with panic, but because life seemed to require it. A new bridge here, a hospital expansion there. Each small loan felt reasonable. Each tiny decision felt harmless. People trusted that future resources would cover it. People always trusted that someone else, somewhere, had the calculations correct. And so, the borrowing continued, quietly and confidently. Businesses did the same. Companies borrowed to innovate, to grow, to compete. They promised themselves that profits would easily cover the cost. Invoices were paid, salaries were met, and no alarm sounded. The financial world carried on, smooth and reassuring, like the gentle sound of a clock ticking in a quiet room. Even ordinary families took small steps into debt. They borrowed for cars, for small renovations, for education. Each decision felt personal and manageable. Each felt like part of life, part of the natural rhythm of existence. No one imagined that all these small, ordinary choices were adding up into something larger than themselves. Picture the world as a giant, calm ocean. On the surface, everything looks serene. Waves lap gently on the shore. Seagulls drift lazily overhead. But beneath the surface, currents are forming, subtle but steady. They are not dangerous yet. They are not violent. They are simply moving, shaping the water beneath, unseen, soft, and continuous. These first small cracks were like those underwater currents. At first, they were easy to ignore. They made no noise, demanded no attention. No one questioned them because the day-to-day life above the surface felt secure. People trusted the system because it had always seemed reliable. They trusted it with the same quiet certainty with which they trusted the sunrise. it would always be there. In the financial world, these cracks were not mistakes or accidents. They were the natural result of growth, of aspiration, of humans living their lives. Every decision made sense in isolation. Every small loan, every minor risk, every gentle stretch of credit was just a tiny piece of a puzzle that on the surface appeared complete. Take a soft, slow breath in. Let it out slowly. Imagine each small crack like a faint line in the snow, barely noticeable, almost beautiful in its symmetry, alone, harmless. But over time, the lines began to connect, subtly, slowly, softly, like spiderweb threads stretching across a quiet window pane. The first small cracks always feel safe. They are almost comforting, part of the rhythm of growth, part of the gentle unfolding of life. And yet, underneath, the weight of what was borrowed was accumulating. Interest added quietly, payments stretched over years, promises of repayment lined up, each one dependent on the next. The cracks were not just in stone or wood. They were in numbers, in agreements, in systems designed by people who were calm, rational, and confident. And that was the delicate part. It was all very gentle, almost invisible, yet it carried potential, like seeds resting in soil, waiting to grow in unexpected ways. As you listen, notice how soft this moment feels. There is no panic, no rush, no tension. The cracks are gentle, and the world is still beautiful. Everything still works. Life still flows. The rhythm of the town, the hum of everyday life, continues. The currents below the surface are quiet and patient. They are subtle. They are almost polite. They are simply moving, shaping the world gradually. These first small cracks remind us that change is often quiet. It does not shout or scream. It whispers, it nudges. It reminds us that even the calmest, most peaceful places carry movement beneath the surface. The world can appear steady while slowly preparing for something larger. And sometimes, noticing it is only possible in hindsight. Tonight, as you listen and breathe, imagine yourself floating above the town we have been visiting. Look down gently. Everything seems normal. Everything feels safe. And yet, under the soft, calm waters of daily life, the first small cracks are there. Not threatening, not frightening, just quietly present. Almost like a secret the world carries in its folds, waiting for time to reveal its story. Take another gentle breath in. Let it drift out. Feel the quiet comfort of the surface. Feel the gentle, patient energy beneath. This is the world before the spiral became visible. The world still in its quiet rhythm, carrying the early whispers of what would come. Soon, we will begin to see how these cracks grow, layer by layer, like snow accumulating on a roof, softly, steadily, almost unnoticed. But for now, let the quiet settle over you. Let it feel calm. Let it feel safe. Let it carry you gently into the next part of our story. Chapter 3. The quiet compounding. Now, with your eyes closed and your body soft against the surface beneath you, let us imagine the world moving forward. The cracks we spoke of are still subtle, still mostly invisible. Life continues to hum along above them. People wake up, drink their tea, walk to work, smile at neighbors, and everything seems steady. And yet, below the surface, something gentle but persistent is taking shape. Think of debt like a tiny snowflake landing quietly on the roof. Alone, it is insignificant, hardly noticeable. But snowflakes keep falling day after day, silently, adding to what came before. Slowly, the accumulation grows heavier, layer by layer. This is how the quiet spiral begins. Not with a single crash, not with a loud alarm, but with patient, almost polite compounding. Every small loan, every minor borrowing, every tiny deferred payment quietly joins the rest, adding its weight to the growing structure. In this time, governments, businesses, and families all continued to act naturally. They borrowed for new schools, new roads, new projects. Companies borrowed to expand operations, to invest in ideas, to stay competitive. Families borrowed to buy homes, to pay for tuition, or to smooth out irregular expenses. None of it felt alarming. Each decision seemed harmless, even sensible, in isolation. And because it was quiet, it was easy to trust that everything would balance out. As you breathe slowly and gently, imagine these borrowings like threads being woven into a soft fabric. Each thread is light, gentle, and smooth. But as more threads are added, the fabric grows denser, heavier, more intricate. It still looks beautiful from the outside. The weaving seems orderly, predictable. But underneath, the layers are starting to press together in ways that no one can fully see. Interest quietly gathers its weight, like a gentle tide moving inward. Payments accumulate. Promises are stacked neatly in ledgers, in spreadsheets, in minds of people who trust the process. The compounding is silent, almost polite, patient. It does not rush. It does not make noise. And because it is slow, because it is almost invisible, it is easy for everyone to forget the total weight of what is being carried. Notice the rhythm of this moment. Your breath is soft. Your body is calm. The world I am describing is moving at a similar pace. There is no panic, no sudden change, only gradual accumulation. The quiet compounding is not meant to frighten. It is simply a gentle force of nature, a quiet movement that will reveal its significance over time. In the world of finance, this compounding is both simple and powerful. A small loan generates a little interest. That interest generates more interest. Payments are delayed. Debts are refinanced. Each cycle feels natural. Each step is measured. But the accumulation never stops. Slowly, imperceptibly, the weight grows. Imagine, if you can, a river flowing quietly through a forest. At first, the river is narrow and calm, barely noticeable beyond the soft gurgle of water over stones. Over time, tributaries join it. Snowmelt adds more water. Rain collects in streams that feed into the river. Gradually, it becomes wider, deeper, stronger, moving with more force than when it began. No single moment defines its growth. It is steady, patient, persistent. That is what was happening in the world's finances. No one noticed the scale changing, because everything felt ordinary. A bridge built here, a business loan approved there, a family purchasing a home with credit. It all seemed natural, and yet every small addition contributed to a larger pattern, a pattern that was gentle but unstoppable. It was a quiet layering of decisions, repeated endlessly across countries, businesses, and households. Take another soft breath. Let it drift out slowly. Picture the snowflakes landing softly on the roof, layer by layer, until the roof carries a quiet weight. Feel the subtle tension of that weight. Gentle, not alarming, merely present. This is the power of slow accumulation. It is patient, almost invisible, and that patience is what makes it so fascinating. As the quiet compounding continued, a sense of rhythm emerged. Debt grew in predictable cycles. Payments were made. Interests were collected. Ledgers balanced. Everything appeared orderly. And that order is what gave the world confidence. People could sleep at night, believing that the system beneath them was strong, stable, and reliable. The cracks were still hidden. The weight was still subtle. The snow had not yet threatened to slide from the roof. The lesson here is gentle and important. Small, consistent actions, when repeated over time, can create results far beyond what anyone expects. This is true in life, in nature, and in the world of finance. Quiet compounding shapes the world in ways that are not immediately obvious. And it does so without fanfare, without urgency, without loud signals. It is a slow, patient teacher. Tonight, as you lie here, imagine yourself in the town we have been visiting. The baker is still opening his shop. The children are walking to school. The sunlight drifts softly through windows, and beneath the surface, the quiet compounding continues, invisible, gentle, patient, layer by layer, adding subtle weight. And just like you listening now, the world moves forward calmly, without rushing, carrying the weight of countless decisions that no one fully notices. Let this gentle rhythm settle in your mind. Feel the calm persistence of small, soft actions. Let it match the rhythm of your own breathing. Inhale slowly, exhale slowly. Let the layers of quiet compounding drift over you like a soft blanket, comforting, steady, and calm. The world is still beautiful. The cracks are not threatening. The snow is still light. And as we continue our journey, we will watch the patterns begin to whisper, hinting at the spiral that will take shape. But for now, the night is calm. The rhythm is soft. The world and your mind are gently at ease. Chapter 4. When the numbers started whispering. As you remain lying comfortably with your eyes closed, let your mind drift softly to the world we have been exploring. The snowflakes have been falling quietly on the roof. The threads of compounding debt have been weaving together, layer by gentle layer. Everything still seems calm on the surface, and yet, beneath it, there is a subtle change. Something is beginning to whisper. Imagine sitting in a quiet library, the kind where each page turns softly, almost inaudibly. The books are stacked neatly, but occasionally a faint creak of the floor reminds you of the weight above. The library is orderly, still beautiful, still safe, but tiny sounds, soft and almost unnoticed, hint that the structure is alive. It breathes, it moves. It has a story that is slowly revealing itself. That is what began to happen in the financial world. The numbers started whispering, not loudly, not alarmingly, just gentle murmurs in spreadsheets, quiet signals in balance sheets, soft patterns in global borrowing. Economists noticed subtle changes. Analysts detected trends, but their voices were soft, almost polite. There was no need to shout. Nothing had yet failed. Everything still worked. And so, most people continued with their routines, barely aware of the whispers. Take a slow, deep breath. Let your mind feel the quiet nature of this moment. The whispers are there, just beneath awareness. They are hints of something larger, like shadows stretching under the soft glow of evening. They do not demand attention. They do not cause alarm. They simply exist, waiting to be understood by those who are patient enough to listen. In this period, small patterns began to emerge. Interest payments were slightly higher than expected. Some governments found that borrowing had grown a little faster than planned. Businesses started noticing subtle shifts in cash flow. Families felt that monthly payments were slightly heavier than before, though each individual adjustment was small. The changes were gentle, almost imperceptible, like the soft rustle of leaves before a calm breeze. And here is the remarkable part. The whispers were actually warnings. gentle, patient hints that the world's calm surface was carrying subtle weight, like tiny cracks in a teacup, barely visible but there nonetheless. No one panicked, no one rushed. The world moved forward, soft and steady, carrying the faint echoes of these murmurs with it. Think of it like walking along a quiet forest path. The air is still. Sunlight filters through the leaves in slow golden beams. You notice a soft rustle in the underbrush. A bird moves quickly, unseen, and the branches tremble gently. It is a whisper of life, a subtle sign of motion, but the forest itself remains calm and beautiful. You continue walking, aware but relaxed. That is exactly how the world experienced these early whispers of financial imbalance. Even the institutions that noticed these hints acted gently. They suggested small corrections. They offered advice. They nudged policies slightly. But because the world felt secure, there was no urgency to change anything drastically. The whispers were soft, patient, polite, much like a teacher gently reminding a student that a lesson will arrive if attention is paid. Imagine listening to these whispers now in your mind. Each number, each ledger, each quiet financial movement is like a soft note played on a piano in a silent room. It is almost meditative. The world hums along with the music, calm and steady. And yet, these notes carry meaning. They are early signs of patterns, hints of the spiral forming quietly, like gentle currents beneath a glassy lake. Now picture a small town once more. People are going about their morning routines. Shopkeepers sweep the sidewalks. Children walk to school, laughing softly. The baker opens his door. Everything seems ordinary. And yet, if you imagine the town from above, you can see tiny ripples forming in the structures of the debt beneath the surface. They are not dangerous, not alarming, just quietly present, patiently gathering significance. Take another slow, full breath. Let it out gently. The numbers whisper. They are calm, not demanding. They are subtle, not urgent. And the world moves forward, mostly unaware, mostly relaxed, as these whispers weave into the story of the quiet debt spiral. This is a lesson in noticing what is gentle, what is soft, what is patient. Not all warnings arrive loudly or dramatically. Some appear as whispers, quiet, almost imperceptible. And sometimes, simply noticing them is enough to prepare, to guide, to understand. Tonight, let your mind float along with these whispers. Feel their soft rhythm. Feel their quiet presence. There is no need to rush, no need to strain. Just listen. Let them fold into your awareness as you continue to relax, sinking slowly into comfort, into stillness, into calm. And now, as the whispers settle, we can continue our journey into the next chapter, where the spiral begins to take shape, layer by gentle layer. The story remains calm. The world is still peaceful, and your mind is soft, ready to drift further into understanding and rest. Chapter 5. The spiral takes shape. Now, as your eyes remain closed and your body drifts comfortably into stillness, let us follow the quiet whispers into something a little more visible. The small cracks, the gentle layering, and the subtle murmurs in numbers were not meaningless. They were slowly connecting, weaving together into a pattern that would eventually be recognizable as a spiral. Imagine a soft wind moving through a forest. At first, it barely stirs the leaves. Then, little by little, branches sway, twigs bend, and the forest begins to move as one gentle rhythm. It is still calm, it is still peaceful, yet beneath the surface, energy is forming, a current that is unseen but present. This is how the spiral began, quietly, softly, almost politely, without alarming anyone. In the world of finance, this meant that small debts, minor loans, and tiny shifts in spending were beginning to interact in subtle ways. A government borrowed a little more to fund new projects, confident that taxes and growth would cover it. A bank extended slightly larger loans than usual, trusting in the economy's strength. Businesses reinvested profits they did not yet fully have. Families adjusted their budgets, sometimes stretching just a little further than before. Each of these actions alone was unremarkable. Each made sense in its own small context. But together, like gentle raindrops forming a stream, they started to create a pattern. The spiral was forming in quiet layers, a shape that was not threatening, not dramatic, just persistent. Take a soft, full breath in. Let it out slowly. Picture the spiral as a ribbon unfurling softly across a calm pond. Each turn is smooth. Each curve is gentle. No sudden drops, no sharp turns. The spiral moves predictably, patiently, quietly. And just like the pond, the world continues above it, calm and peaceful, mostly unaware of the shape forming beneath. Even those who noticed the early signs of compounding debt and small cracks did not see the full spiral yet. Economists wrote quietly in journals, analysts exchanged careful observations, and governments made minor adjustments. But the spiral was too subtle, too patient, and too polite to demand immediate attention. It unfolded slowly, like a flower opening in the morning light, petal by gentle petal. Imagine walking through a garden. Each flower you pass looks ordinary, unremarkable. But as you continue, the flowers form patterns. Colors and shapes blend together in ways you only notice after a little time. The spiral in our story is like that garden. Its beauty lies in its subtlety. Its presence is quiet. Its movement is gradual. The spiral took shape not with drama, but with consistency. Small amounts of borrowing, repeated day after day, year after year, began to layer upon each other. Interest compounded. Payments stretched over time. Promises of repayment were stacked neatly, depending on the next promise, the next decision, the next layer of confidence. Each addition felt safe and manageable. Each step seemed harmless. And yet, when viewed as a whole, the spiral had a gentle weight. It was soft, almost imperceptible, but it carried potential. Like water slowly filling a vessel, the spiral's presence could be felt only by those paying close attention. It was patient. It was polite. It moved quietly, shaping the world with subtle power. Take another deep breath. Let it float out. Picture the spiral continuing to unwind gently beneath the surface of the world. The streets are still quiet. The baker continues to open his shop. Families laugh softly over breakfast. Businesses operate normally. Everything above remains calm. The spiral moves below like a whispering river, soft and steady. This chapter reminds us that not all significant events arrive with noise. Some grow quietly, slowly, softly. They do not shout. They do not alarm. They form in layers, in patterns, in the patient repetition of small actions. The spiral is not frightening. It is simply a shape that patience and compounding create over time. As you breathe slowly, imagine your mind tracing the curves of the spiral. Follow its gentle lines. Feel the calm rhythm of its movement. Let it remind you that growth and change often happen gradually, in soft steps that are easy to overlook. And yet, those steps carry meaning, shaping the world in ways we may not fully see until much later. Tonight, the spiral is forming softly, quietly, gently. There is no rush, no alarm, only patient movement. And your mind, listening, is calm and safe, floating alongside this quiet story, ready to continue as we move into the next chapter, where ordinary people begin to notice that something has shifted in the world around them. Chapter 6, the night everyone felt something was off. Now, as you remain comfortable, with your eyes closed and your body relaxed, let us move gently into a new part of our story. The spiral has been forming quietly, layer by layer. The whispers of numbers and soft compounding have been shaping a pattern that most people could not yet see. And yet, slowly, subtly, a feeling began to emerge across the world. A sense, quiet and gentle, that something was different. It was not a panic. It was not an alarm. It was more like the soft chill of evening touching your skin. You notice it only because you are paying attention. You feel it in your breath, in the gentle pause of daily life, in the small, quiet doubts that drift into the mind without words. This is the night when ordinary people, for the first time, began sensing that the calm they had trusted for so long was not quite as solid as it seemed. Picture a small town at dusk. The streets are emptying as the sun sinks softly below the horizon. Lamps glow with a warm, golden light. Families gather for dinner. The baker locks up his shop and wipes his hands on a towel. Everything seems ordinary, yet in quiet conversations, there is a small hesitation. A neighbor mentions that the bank feels slower today. A shopkeeper notices fewer coins in the cash register. Children ask questions that adults cannot immediately answer. Nothing is dramatic. Nothing is urgent. Just small ripples in the fabric of life. Take a deep, slow breath. Let it out gently. Feel the calm of the town at dusk. And now imagine the feeling spreading beyond this small place, quietly across nations, like a soft fog rolling over hills. People everywhere began sensing that the world was slightly different, that the gentle rhythm of borrowing and spending was shifting beneath them. It was not frightening, only noticeable if you were paying attention, only detectable by those willing to feel the subtle changes. In this time, even governments and businesses sensed a slight change. Reports that had always seemed predictable now carried small surprises. Economists noticed patterns that were softer but undeniable. Banks felt a gentle pressure in their calculations. Businesses sensed that their usual assumptions needed slight adjustments. And families, perhaps without even understanding why, felt that the weight of the future had grown a little heavier, though not yet alarming. It is important to notice that this awareness did not come with stress or panic. The world remained calm. People still smiled. Streets were still bustling with quiet life. Birds still sang at dawn. The sun rose and set as it always had. But beneath the surface, the spiral had grown large enough that even the gentlest observer could sense its shape. Imagine this moment in your mind. You are walking through the town as the first stars appear in the sky. The air is cool and still. You hear the soft rustle of leaves. You see the faint shadows of trees stretching across quiet streets. And in that stillness, you feel a tiny shift in the rhythm of life. Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent. Just a subtle awareness that the world, as calm and steady as it feels, carries patterns we mayn't always notice. Take another gentle breath. Let it move slowly in and out. Feel how quiet this moment is. The spiral is still forming, still moving patiently, but it has begun to touch the surface. And as we listen to it together, it carries a soft lesson that awareness, even gentle awareness, can help us understand the quiet movements of the world around us. This night was not about alarm. It was about recognition, about noticing the subtle rhythms of life that had changed, about understanding that the world, while still beautiful and calm, was carrying layers of quiet weight. That awareness was the first step toward wisdom. That recognition, soft and gentle, could guide decisions in the days to come. As you lie here, breathing softly, imagine the gentle awareness settling in your mind. Feel it like a soft blanket, warming and comforting, reminding you that noticing is not about fear. It is about calm understanding. It is about feeling, observing, and preparing without urgency. The night everyone felt something was off was quiet, soft, and patient. It was not loud, not harsh, not sudden. And it is in that quiet that we begin to see the world prepare for the gentle realization of the spiral. For now, let your mind float along this calm awareness. Let the soft rhythm of the night guide you deeper into rest. And when you are ready, we will continue into the next chapter, where the world slowly confronts the soft weight of the spiral, still without rush or drama, only quiet realization and gentle reflection. Chapter 7. The Soft Shock. As you continue to rest, with your eyes closed and your body fully supported, let us gently explore the next part of our story. The spiral has been forming quietly for many years. The whispers of numbers and the subtle currents of compounding have been moving steadily, softly, almost unnoticed. And now, the world began to feel the first hints of what some might call a soft shock. It is important to understand that this shock was not loud. It was not like thunder breaking through a quiet sky. It was gentle, almost polite. A soft realization that the patterns everyone had trusted were, in some ways, more fragile than they had imagined. People began to notice small things: a delay in payment, a loan slightly harder to secure, a subtle change in interest rates. Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent, just soft nudges that hinted at the underlying weight of the spiral. Picture a small town again. The streets are quiet. The sun has dipped low. A shopkeeper notices fewer coins than usual. A family counts their bills with a bit more care. The baker senses a small change in orders, almost imperceptible, like the faint shift of wind before a storm that is nowhere near violent. Life continues, calm and steady, yet beneath the surface, the weight of the spiral is becoming tangible. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it move gently in and exhale softly. Notice the rhythm of the town, the calm of the streets. Even as the soft shock begins, life carries on with the same gentle beauty. Birds rest on rooftops. Lamps glow warmly in the evening. Conversations remain quiet. People continue to laugh softly, unaware of the subtle changes shaping the larger world. At the same time, banks and governments began to feel the soft weight in their calculations. Small adjustments were made. Gentle warnings circulated in reports and memos. Analysts spoke in calm tones about patterns and possibilities. There was no alarm. There was no urgency. Only quiet reflection and gentle consideration. The world was still functioning. The spiral was still polite, still patient, still moving softly. Imagine the soft shock as a ripple in a calm pond. You drop a small pebble into the water and tiny waves spread outward. The pond does not erupt or churn. It does not shout or thrash. The ripples are soft, rhythmic, gentle, yet they carry a message. Something is shifted. Something is moving beneath the surface. And that is the soft shock. Awareness, calm and quiet, of the spiral's increasing presence. Take another slow, calming breath. Let your mind picture the gentle ripple expanding slowly, carrying understanding without urgency. This is a moment of clarity, soft and patient. The world has not fallen. It has only noticed slowly that the quiet weight of decisions over time has accumulated. There is no panic, only gentle recognition. People began to adjust softly. Families rebalanced their budgets, not in fear, but in awareness. Businesses moved cautiously, making small changes to plans. Governments made modest adjustments, quietly refining policies. It was a collective, calm effort to acknowledge the spiral without giving it power over life. And as you lie here, listening and breathing slowly, imagine yourself floating above the town once more. Observe the streets, the people, the soft glow of lights. The ripple of understanding moves through everything gently. The spiral's weight is now perceptible, but still calm, still manageable. There is no crash. There is no chaos. Only the quiet, polite reminder that small actions, repeated over time, have consequences. This chapter teaches us that awareness can arrive softly. Recognition does not need to be sudden or dramatic to be meaningful. Sometimes, a gentle understanding is enough to guide decisions, to shape the future, to maintain calm. The soft shock is a teacher, showing that even accumulated weight can be noticed without fear. Now, with another slow, deliberate breath, let the calm of this moment wash over you. Let the knowledge of the soft shock settle like a feather on your chest, comforting and light. Life continues, soft and rhythmic. The world moves steadily, and your mind, resting here, is safe and at peace. In the next chapter, we will explore how the world paused, reflected, and began the first gentle steps of repair. Even the softest realizations can guide change, and even the quietest movements can lead to healing. Chapter 8. The Calm Before Repair. Now, with your eyes closed and your body resting comfortably, let us move gently into the next part of the story. The spiral has been quietly forming. The whispers of numbers have been heard, and the soft shock has made itself known. And yet, the world is still calm. Life continues. People still walk through streets, bathed in the warm glow of lamps. Families gather for evening meals. Birds roost in the trees. And in this quiet moment, something remarkable begins. A pause. Imagine a town where everyone slows down just a little. No rush, no chaos, no urgency. The baker closes his shop a few minutes earlier to enjoy the stillness. Children sit quietly after dinner, listening to the soft evening air. The streets are calm, almost reflective. This pause is not dramatic. It is gentle. It is patient. It is the world taking a deep breath, preparing to notice, to understand, and to repair. Take a soft, deep breath yourself. Feel your shoulders relaxing further. Let the rhythm of your body align with the rhythm of the town. In this pause, the soft weight of the spiral is acknowledged, not feared. There is understanding, not panic. Awareness replaces uncertainty. The world begins to reflect on what has quietly formed beneath its surface. In the financial system, this pause looks like thoughtful action. Governments begin to study patterns carefully, not to blame, not to react, but to learn. Banks reassess lending strategies gently, noticing where adjustments can be made without disrupting lives. Businesses consider their growth and borrowing in small, calm steps. And families, quietly observing their budgets and choices, start to plan gently for the future. Picture these adjustments as soft ripples on a calm lake. The ripples move outward slowly, touching each part of the water, guiding it toward balance. There is no sudden storm, no crashing waves, only a patient, deliberate movement toward equilibrium. The world is learning to respond without urgency, with thoughtfulness and care. This moment is filled with quiet hope. The spiral, while still present, is now being understood. The cracks are noticed. The layers of compounding are acknowledged. And instead of panic, there is calm reflection. People realize that small, gentle corrections can have a meaningful impact. They understand that even a patient spiral can be guided towards stability with awareness and thoughtful action. Take another gentle breath. Let it move slowly in and out. Picture the soft hands of people working together quietly. A government official recalculates a budget carefully. A bank manager reviews loans with attention and care. Families discuss their finances calmly over dinner. Each small act, done patiently, contributes to the first steps of repair. And as your mind drifts with this story, imagine the spiral softening under these gentle adjustments. The layers of debt, once silent and patient, are now being managed patiently, layer by layer. The world is not overwhelmed. It is not frantic. It is simply learning to carry its weight with calm awareness. This chapter reminds us that even when patterns seem large or complex, patience and thoughtful action can guide the way. No sudden fixes are needed. No harsh corrections are required. Just steady, calm reflection and small steps forward, like the first rays of dawn slowly warming the quiet town. Let yourself breathe softly as you picture this calm. Feel the quiet reassurance that the world, while once unaware, now knows how to move gently toward healing. The spiral is still there, but it is no longer silent. It is now visible, acknowledged, and gradually softening under the care of patient minds. As you rest here, imagine the town bathed in soft moonlight, the air still and comforting. The gentle steps of repair are unfolding quietly. Life continues. The spiral is now part of the story, but the story is becoming one of hope, reflection, and calm correction. Soon, in the next chapter, we will explore the gradual healing that followed this period of gentle awareness, and how patient actions restored balance to a world that once barely noticed the quiet spiral beneath it. Chapter 9. The Gradual Healing. Now, as you remain lying comfortably with your eyes closed, let us continue our story. The spiral has been quietly forming for years. Whispers and soft shocks have been noticed, and the world has taken its gentle pause. And now, slowly, carefully, the first signs of healing begin to appear. Imagine a town waking up after a long, quiet night. The sun rises softly, spilling light over rooftops and cobblestone streets. There is a sense of calm purpose in the air. People stretch, take gentle breaths, and begin their day slowly. They move with awareness now, carrying a quiet understanding of the patterns that have shaped their lives. Life flows forward, but with a new attentiveness, a gentle mindfulness. In the world of finance, healing begins in small steps. Governments make careful policy adjustments. Interest rates are eased slightly. Loans are restructured gently so that payments are manageable. Businesses begin to plan patiently, making thoughtful decisions rather than rushed expansions. Families organize their budgets quietly, focusing on stability and balance. Each action, small on its own, contributes to a broader restoration. Take a soft, deep breath. Let it out slowly. Picture the threads of the spiral loosening gently, like a soft breeze untangling a knot in a ribbon. Nothing is broken. Nothing is rushed. The layers of weight that had quietly accumulated are being supported, managed, and gradually eased. Healing is patient. Healing is kind. Healing does not demand speed. Imagine walking through the town. You pass familiar streets bathed in warm light. Shopkeepers open their stores with calm smiles. Children play softly in the park. Families gather for quiet meals. And everywhere there is a gentle rhythm of restoration. The world has noticed the weight it has been carrying and is adjusting with patience, layer by layer, softly and deliberately. In the global economy, the process is similar. Nations cooperate to gently manage debts. Businesses work with lenders to adjust timelines and expectations. People begin to understand the subtle patterns of borrowing and lending that once felt invisible. There is a shared recognition that healing takes time, that soft steps matter more than sudden moves, that patience is a guiding force. Picture this healing as sunlight spreading across a calm lake. The ripples of reflection and adjustment move slowly outward, touching every part of the surface. The water is smooth, the reflections are gentle, and each ripple, each small adjustment, contributes to a broader sense of balance and calm. As you breathe slowly, let yourself imagine the world softening. Feel the gentle easing of tension, like a warm blanket wrapping softly around your shoulders. The spiral has been acknowledged. The spiral is being managed, and the process of restoration moves quietly, patiently, steadily. Healing is gradual, but it is consistent. Small acts repeated over time create a meaningful impact. Governments, businesses, families, and individuals all contribute to the soft restoration of stability. No one part of the system acts alone. Each decision, each adjustment, is part of a collective gentle effort. Take another slow breath. Let your mind rest in the calm of this gradual healing. Imagine the spiral, once quiet and unnoticed, now softly unraveling, becoming a story of patience and cooperation. The world continues forward, restored slowly, quietly, and safely. Even as the spiral eases, life moves on with familiar rhythms. The baker opens his shop, children laugh, streets remain lively but calm, and families rest comfortably in their homes. The world carries on with awareness, guided by patient actions and gentle understanding. This chapter reminds us that healing often comes not in dramatic bursts, but in patient, small, and consistent steps. It shows that even the quietest spirals, the gentlest accumulations, can be softened and corrected when attention, care, and patience are applied. As you continue to breathe softly, let yourself absorb this gentle lesson. Life, like the spiral, moves in layers, and restoration, like calm water, arrives slowly, quietly, and beautifully. Soon, in our final chapter, we will reflect on the lessons the world almost missed, and how understanding, patience, and awareness create not only healing, but a sense of calm wisdom that can guide the future. Chapter 10. The lesson we almost missed. Now, with your eyes closed and your body soft and still, let us gently arrive at the final chapter of our story. The quiet debt spiral has been acknowledged. The small cracks have been noticed. The whispers have been heard. The soft shock has passed. The world has paused, reflected, and gradually healed. And now, in the gentle glow of understanding, we can reflect on the lessons that almost went unnoticed. Picture the world as a calm, wide river. Along its banks, trees stretch their branches toward the sky. The water moves steadily, reflecting sunlight, reflecting clouds, reflecting the quiet life that surrounds it. And just as the river flows, so too does the story of the spiral. Each decision, each small action, each quiet adjustment has contributed to the current of understanding that now guides the world. The first lesson is simple, yet profound. Small actions repeated over time have power. What seems insignificant in a single moment can, when compounded patiently, shape the world. The debts we borrow, the promises we make, the routines we follow, all contribute to a larger story. Awareness of these patterns allows us to navigate them calmly. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it out gently. Picture the layers of the spiral now softened, managed, understood. The world has learned that careful observation, patience, and collaboration can transform something that might have felt overwhelming into something manageable, even beautiful. The second lesson is about patience. Healing does not come in sudden bursts. It arrives gently, step by step, day by day, decision by decision. The world's recovery was not dramatic. It was slow, steady, and thoughtful. And that is how true understanding works. It moves quietly, without urgency, without chaos, but with deep and lasting effect. The third lesson is about awareness. The spiral was once invisible to most, growing quietly beneath the surface. Only those who noticed the whispers, the early signs, and the small cracks were able to guide the world toward calm. Awareness, gentle and steady, is the key to understanding patterns, to noticing when things shift, and to responding with care rather than fear. Imagine the town once more. Families sit quietly by candlelight. Children drift off to sleep. Shopkeepers close their shops, and the baker breathes slowly after his day. The streets are still. The air is soft. And beneath it all, the world carries the gentle lessons of experience, layered like soft blankets, comforting and protective. And now, as you continue to lie comfortably, feel the calm that comes from understanding. The spiral is no longer a source of tension. It is a story of learning, of patient awareness, and of gentle recovery. Life moves forward, steady and rhythmic, carrying with it the knowledge that even the quietest accumulations can be managed with care. Take another slow breath. Let it move in deeply, filling your chest, and as you exhale, release any remaining tension. Allow your mind to float, calm and free, following the gentle flow of understanding through your thoughts. The world is safe. You are safe. And the spiral, once a quiet weight, has transformed into a story of patience, reflection, and hope. Now, as our story comes to a close, let yourself drift even further into relaxation. Feel your body sinking deeper into comfort. Your arms, your legs, your shoulders, all soft and relaxed. Your breathing, slow, gentle, steady. Picture the town once more under the soft moonlight. The streets are empty. A calm breeze rustles the leaves. The world is quiet, peaceful, balanced. And like this world, your mind is settling, layer by layer, into calm awareness. If you notice any thoughts, let them float past like clouds in the night sky. No need to follow them. No need to hold them. Just watch them drift and let your mind remain soft, quiet, ready for rest. Tonight, you have witnessed a story of quiet growth, soft accumulation, gentle realization, and patient healing. Let that calm knowledge rest in your mind. You are safe. You are calm. You are ready to let the day go. Take one final deep breath, slowly in and gently out, and allow your awareness to drift into a calm, restful sleep. Let your body and mind sink deeper with each breath. The world continues softly around you, and now it is your time to rest. Good night.